The arena fell silent as Commander Jake Morrison stood over the fallen form of Warlord Crexthon, the most feared warrior in 3 star systems. The massive alien's chitinous exoskeleton bore deep gouges from Jake's plasma blade, and purple blood pooled beneath his crumpled frame. The human had done the impossible. He had defeated the undefeated champion of the hegemony in single combat. Jake wiped sweat from his brow, his breathing heavy from the intense battle. Around him, thousands of alien spectators from dozens of species sat in stunned silence. No one had expected the human representative to last more than a few minutes against the legendary warrior, let alone emerge victorious. The implications of this victory would ripple across the galaxy. High Counselor Veltara descended from her observation platform, her flowing robes shimmering with embedded circuitry. The elderly Nexari's 3 eyes fixed upon Jake with a mixture of respect and concern. Behind her followed 2 figures that made Jake's heart skip a beat, the prizes he had unknowingly won through his triumph. The first was Lady Amara, an elf from the forest world of Sylvandria. Her ethereal beauty was matched only by her reputation as a master diplomat and scholar. Silver hair cascaded down her back like liquid moonlight, and her emerald eyes held wisdom that spanned centuries. She wore robes of deep green that seemed to shimmer with their own inner light, marking her as one of the High Court. Beside her walked Captain Rebecca Stone, a human-alien hybrid whose mother had been from the warrior caste of the Draconian Empire. Her auburn hair was braided with metallic threads that caught the arena's lights, and her golden eyes betrayed her draconic heritage. Lean muscle rippled beneath her fitted uniform, speaking to years of military training and countless battles fought across the frontier worlds. "Commander Morrison," Veltara spoke, her voice carrying across the arena through translation circuits. "By ancient law and tradition, your victory over Warlord Crexthon grants you claim to his most prized possessions. These 2 warriors were bound to him through contracts of honor. Now they are bound to you." Jake felt his stomach drop. He had entered the duel to prevent a war between Earth and the hegemony, accepting the challenge when diplomatic talks had failed. The alien warlord had insulted humanity's honor and threatened to subjugate Earth's colonies. Jake had never considered what victory might bring beyond saving his people. "I don't understand," Jake said, looking between the 2 women. "I didn't fight for slaves or trophies. I fought to protect my people." Lady Amara stepped forward, her movements graceful despite the heavy chains that bound her wrists. "We are not slaves, human warrior. We are bound by sacred oaths, contracts written in blood and witnessed by the stars themselves. Your victory transfers these bonds to you. To break them would bring dishonor upon all parties." Captain Stone nodded grimly. "The warlord claimed us in similar duels. I lost defending my ship and crew from his raiders. Lady Amara was wagered by her own court to secure a trade agreement. Now our oaths serve you, whether any of us wish it or not." The crowd began to murmur as translation devices spread the conversation throughout the arena. Some species cheered the humans' unexpected victory, while others grumbled about the upset to established order. Jake realized that every word and action now would be scrutinized across the galaxy. "What exactly do these bonds entail?" Jake asked Veltara, though he suspected he already knew the answer. "Marriage contracts," the High Counselor confirmed. "Sealed in combat and witnessed by representatives of 47 different civilizations. Both women are now legally bound to become your wives under hegemony law. To refuse would be seen as an act of dishonor that could void the peace treaty you fought to secure." Jake looked at both women, seeing the resignation in their eyes mixed with something else. Hope, perhaps, that he might prove different from their previous captor. He had heard stories of Crexthon's cruelty, how he collected beautiful and talented beings like trophies, displaying them at court functions while denying them any real voice or freedom. "And if I accept these bonds," Jake said carefully, "what rights do they have as my wives under human law?" Lady Amara's eyes widened slightly. It was clearly not a question she had expected. "Human law? Earth recognizes marriage as a partnership between equals," Jake explained. "My wives would have the same legal standing as myself. They could own property, command respect, and make their own choices about their lives and careers." Captain Stone straightened, her military bearing coming to the fore. "You would grant us autonomy?" "I would grant you freedom," Jake corrected. The bonds may be sealed by alien law, but how we honor them will be determined by human values. The arena erupted in surprised chatter. Many alien species practiced forms of marriage that were far from equal partnerships. The idea that a warrior's prize would be granted independence was revolutionary. High Counselor Veltara nodded slowly. Your approach is unconventional, Commander Morrison, but the bonds must still be formally acknowledged. Will you accept these marriages as binding? Jake looked at both women again, seeing something new in their expressions, curiosity and the beginning of respect. He thought of his people back on Earth, of the colonies that would remain safe because of this day's work. He thought of the two remarkable women before him, bound by circumstances beyond their control to a life they had not chosen. I accept the bonds, Jake said finally, but I propose we rewrite the terms of our contract. If Lady Amara and Captain Stone agree, we will honor the legal requirements while building something based on mutual respect and partnership. Lady Amara was the first to speak. I have lived for over 2 centuries, Commander Morrison, and never has a warrior asked for my agreement rather than simply taking what was his by right of conquest. Captain Stone smiled for the first time since entering the arena. My mother always said humans were unpredictable. I think I am beginning to understand why the galaxy fears them. As the crowd watched in fascination, Jake stepped forward and gently broke the ceremonial chains binding both women's wrists. The symbolic gesture sent shockwaves through the assembled representatives. Then let us begin this partnership properly, Jake said, extending his hands to both women. Not as conqueror and conquered, but as equals, facing an uncertain future together. The arena exploded in chaos as representatives from dozens of species debated the implications of what they had witnessed. Some called it scandalous, others revolutionary. But in the center of it all, 3 individuals stood together, bound by law but choosing to forge something new, a marriage based not on conquest, but on respect. The galaxy would never be quite the same.